Hey guys, my name is Neil Hardigan. I'm going to talk today a little bit about the advantages of Wikis and Google Docs. I just threw together this PowerPoint presentation. So first off, the advantages of a wiki. I think one of the most important things, as it mentioned in the book, is that it can enhance communication and increase collaboration. It's an easy way to make edits, and you don't have to be physically in a room together to make those edits. Another one of the advantages is it saves the history of the document. um, I've had experiences with the internet crashing, or a student not saving their progress, and it's nice that you can be able to go back to any previously saved editions of the document that you're working on. It also records the name of who added what and when they added it. They said in the book that you can, there's not really an excuse to not know a decision that was made in a wiki, or not know who made that decision, because that information is readily available. Um, it's more efficient than an email. I think that's fairly obvious. Instead of saying, "Hey, why don't we do this, that, and the third in an email?" And the leadership team has to keep up with who said what and when they said it and different things like that. People can just go ahead and make those changes in the document, which I think is useful. And then, lastly, as I mentioned before, everything's kind of stored on the cloud, so it does make it easier in case you would lose anything. Some uses of a wiki I liked in the book when they talked about a school website. I've had experiences with that, and it is helpful when more than one person can update the school website, just because it can be a little bit overwhelming for the principal to manage everything else that they have to do in a day, and then also try to update the school website. I think different programs that are created after school by teachers, or maybe even other members of the leadership team, it would be helpful to have a wiki. You can develop class schedules for students, and then if individual teachers wanted to have a class website, I think a wiki would be a good place to have that as well. Um, Moving on to Google Docs, I think one of the things that I like best about Google Docs is it can be accessed from many different devices. Students in my classroom use Google Docs on laptops when we have them available, but we're not a one-to-one school, so sometimes students are forced to use their cell phones, and it's a little bit of a smaller screen. Some things may be different in a very minor sense, but the majority of what the students are working on is saved, and they can make edits on their phone. Again, similar to wikis, it is more efficient than email, or in the instance of keeping a rolling agenda, you don't have to print out the notes or anything like that to give to people after a meeting. And then lastly, it can be updated by multiple people at once. And I'm getting ready to show you guys an instance of a Google Doc that I use with my school team, and it is very efficient and very helpful to have a note taker and have people be able to edit it at once. So as I mentioned, some uses of Google Docs are agendas for meetings. You can plan a professional development, and as I said in the book, you can write a grant and do different things like that. So my resources were just the book, and then also I had some personal experiences. So this is a wiki that I created last year. So I had actually had to do it for a program that I was involved in, but as you can see, there's just a personal narrative, a picture, my philosophy on education. So some kind of general things, but then also we're getting into some exemplary lesson plans, some lesson plans that I felt could be improved. So, I have typed up on the wiki some things that I wanted to say about it, and then I have an attachment here that people can view. So, I also have family communication, I have some student work, and different things like that. So, this is a living document, and if I were ever to apply to another school district or another school within my district, I think a resume would be nice, but I think this would be more representative of the teacher that I was and some different things that I did in my classroom. Um, so I think this is good. Now that it's finished, while I was working on it, um, somebody that was working on it with me, my mentor, was able to share feedback about what they liked about what I put, what they felt that I could still add, and different things like that. So it made my life a little bit easier in that, everything was right in the document. The edits, the changes that I should make, comments from my mentor, different things like that. So that's the experience that I have with a wiki. Um, as I mentioned before, this is a Google Doc that we use for staff meetings in my department. So, people sign in. There's normally a check-in. We had some discrepancy between A day students and B day students. So people were asked to do that. As you can see, not a lot of people did. We have the time over here. We're reviewing objectives. We're talking about next steps. And then at the end, we have pluses and deltas that we like for people to fill in. But this is nice because, one person can be typing on the uh, the A day and B day, or one person can be working on the check in, another person can be working on next steps, another person can be working on some pluses and deltas. So many people can access it and make edits at once, and people can view it obviously without making edits. So all in all, I found a lot of information in the book very helpful about wikis and Google Docs specifically. Um, I'm also using these almost every week currently in my school, and I love the advantages of it. So that's about it. Thank you for your time.